TGR News, broadcasting from the State of Israel.
Welcome back to TGR News.
Hello, hello.
Well, another week, another day of passing out every week, every single week, giving out food to these people.
Yes.
Not once a month, not twice a month, every week.
Yeah.
It's we say it every week. We say it, how much of a blessing it is from you guys giving your donations to be able to help these people who are desperately in need and really need this help. Our social worker has a list as long as you can believe. There's a lot more people in line who really need our help. So that's in your hands. So like I say many times, if you feel like this is something you want to do, there's links below the video how you can join our ministry and be a part of this wonderful thing of giving people here in the state of Israel food. And if you're already giving, you can always share these videos in this mission that this ministry is on, and talk to it with your congregation and your friends and people of like mind and people who love Israel, and talk to them about it and see what they think.
Yeah, you're literally saving lives here.
Literally saving lives. Yep, that's what the Golden Report is all about. I don't know if you've seen it, but we have a video. Me and my father went to the Jerusalem forest, beautiful landscape in the Jerusalem forest, and we talked about all that. So if you haven't seen it, go back and see that video.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll just jump right into it.
Yes, let's do it.
Okay, let's do it.
Last week's speech that Prime Minister Bennett gave about tax breaks for working families, that we talked about last time, ended up being a joke. Once you look at the details of the tax break, you see that there are so many criteria that it won't help more than half of the people.
Yeah, first of all, the working families was strange. He kept repeating only working families will get these tax breaks, and then when he got into the details, the I think the break-off point where it started, it was people who made so much money they probably didn't even need it that much, right?
Yeah, exactly.
People who were making like 20,000, 30,000 shekels a month. Most of Israel doesn't make 20,000, 30,000 shekels a month. I mean, in your family, they make what, 8,000 shekels a month, which is what, a little over $2,000 a month, and they have to pay everything, and we know how expensive it is.
Yeah, it is. Just think
30,000 shekels a month.
Yeah,
that's a. What was you gonna say?
Yeah, the food. You know, we're talking about the food is expensive and the house is expensive.
Yes.
First, you have to have some place to live in, right?
Right.
And we'll talk about it probably later. But also the apartment is very expensive and going up and up every month and in the last year.
You know, there's the freedom convoy that they had in Canada. Well, it made it here, and I'll tell you something interesting. It didn't get a lot of news coverage. There was about 20,000 people 20,000 vehicles, not people, who took part of it in the freedom of get away from all these corona restrictions and the freedom of just to have our freedoms back, right? Which is I thought was very interesting that they had that convoy here, and that hardly any media coverage on it. They tried to hide it under the table.
Yeah. So just to you started talking about my family.
Yes.
So just to make it in a proportion for you to understand, guys. If my father makes 8,000 shekels, which is about $2,000, a little bit less,
a little bit more than
$2,000. A food, when you go into a grocery store and just buy fruits and vegetables, basic stuff, not like expensive things.
Yes.
Just to cook at home, not restaurants, nothing. They spend every week. They go in and spend about 1,400 shekels just to buy food, and day 3. Yeah. My parents and my sister. 1,400
shekels a week.
Yeah.
In which is about what we spend as well. That's how much it costs to feed a family, and that's how much it costs to feed all of our families that we're helping.
Yes.
But the 1,400 shekels a week for the food, and on top, and you make 8,000 a month.
Yeah. So it's like.
So what's left?
Nothing.
Do the math.
Yeah.
An average month has what, 4.6, I think, 4.6 weeks.
Yeah.
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 So situation's
situation
rough,
is really, really rough here.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about something else right now.
Yeah.
Yaakov Bardugo, I really like this guy. Yaakov Bardugo was a talk show host on Galgalatz, which is the official IDF-run government radio station here in Israel. It's a radio station that I put on. Anytime I'm driving anywhere, I always put it on.
It's the most popular.
Yeah, it's 91.8. It's not that I'm trying to do an advertisement for them here, but it's the best radio station because anything that happens, you're going to hear it first there because it is the official IDF government-run radio station. But they did something really bad this week. He was the last right-wing representative on the station, and they fired him.
Yeah.
This is yet another win for the left wing at destroying democracy, getting the opposite voice out of the media.
Yeah. Now it's just lefty.
Yeah.
It's all lefty. It used to be a very left-wing radio station. You can say that, but you still have this. Sometimes you have these programs. You can tell, right?
Yes.
People talking about everything. And he was on the right side, and he just got fired because he was talking the truth.
because of his ideas and his ideals. You know, that was it.
Yeah.
So yet again, another win for the left wing.
Yeah. For the first time in history, an Israeli IDF officer will be stationed in Arabic countries as a liaison officer.
Liaison.
As a liaison officer. He will be stationed in Bahrain, which we signed
That
lately.
is huge. That is huge.
Yes.
It really is. First of all, we've had to deal with Iran on our border. And when you say that, what it means is Iran is in Syria and Lebanon. So they're on our borders. And now finally, we're getting on their borders. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not right on their borders, but it's pretty close.
Yes.
I mean, we're getting I'm sure it's making Iran a little nervous.
Nervous, yeah.
Yeah, because you got Bahrain and UAE, and we're getting closer and closer right there on their borders.
Yeah.
And that is a big step. That's huge, and it's huge because it's a step for better security for Israel against Iran, and it's huge because just like you said, it is the very first time in the known history where a Muslim Arabic country made peace accords with Israel and now allowing the IDF to be stationed in their country, and now we have a liaison officer for our IDF in their country. That's really huge, folks. That is big. This past few weeks, Arabic Islamic activists in Israel, this was in the state of Israel, were able to raise over $11 million, not shekels, dollars, in donations under the false pretense that it is for Syrian refugees.
Yeah.
Now we know that it was actually for ISIS.
Yeah.
The money is coming from Israel. The money is coming from Israeli citizens gave money to ISIS.
Yeah.
I thought that was insane.
The
Shabak found out about it, but they found out about it a little too late.
Yeah.
But
I saw Arab leaders even talking about it. To Israeli Arabs, don't give this money if you think it's gonna end up in refugees' hands. It's not.
Yeah.
So even them, them understand that it's not for really helpless people.
Oh well.
President Putin is saying to President Biden that he is one provoking the situation with Ukraine, and he is not planning on invading. The CIA said that he was planning to make an air attack on Kiev, the capital of Ukraine, before this week ends. Yeah,
it was at the beginning of the week. The CIA had said that by Monday or Tuesday they were going to do an airstrike. I don't know what's going on there. To me, it seems very confusing. It's very clear the problems between Ukraine and Russia and why Putin don't want NATO on his borders and a list of other things. That's all very clear. Makes I mean, I'm not saying it's right, but it's very clear. We can understand all that. But it's all this misinformation. The CIA and even I think the French intelligence also coming across with all this stuff out, keeps saying he's doing this and doing that. And he's gonna attack tomorrow. He's got a couple more hours, and then he's gonna attack. He's gonna do airstrikes. I said it from the beginning. I don't think he's gonna do anything.
Yeah.
I really don't think he's gonna do anything. I think it was just a show of force to try to stop the Ukraine from entering NATO, and that's not even a sure thing anyway. NATO doesn't even as of right now. NATO doesn't even really want them.
Yeah.
So it's not like tomorrow they're NATO, right?
Exactly.
It's just we'll have to wait and see how this all pans out. But one thing for sure, if Russia invades Ukraine and the U.S. and all the other countries get involved and there starts to be a war on the ground between Russia and NATO, including U.S., and you have American soldiers fighting Russian soldiers, to me that's just that's World War III.
Yes.
I mean that's how it starts. That's how it
Exactly.
starts.
Yeah.
You know, so I hope he backs down.
Yeah.
I hope I'm right.
Nobody knows what he's thinking about.
Nobody.
Putin,
I don't even
Putin,
think he
he just-
knows. I think he wakes up in the morning and makes his mind up. He brushes his teeth and looks in the mirror and says, "Oh, I think today I'll do this."
And then I'm gonna invade or not. I don't know.
I
We'll
don't
see.
know. We'll see. Actually, I think that's how he does his thought process because he has no one else to answer to. It's all his. It's not like a regular government. By the way, Putin's in office until if I understood correctly, the next time elections is 2036. That's the next time he has an election. So he doesn't. I mean, he's not worried about going anywhere. So he has nothing to prove to nobody. He just wakes up in the morning how he feels. Another thing is I'm sure he thinks about his legacy, thinking about if he could bring the Ukraine back into Russia's control would be a big win, because the Ukraine is a powerful country with a lot of money, with a lot of business.
When they asked him in one of the interviews, they asked him, Putin, what is the worst thing happened lately? And he said it was the break of the USSR.
Yeah, USSR, yeah.
It was the worst thing that happened. He wants it all back together. So,
well, Israel called Ukraine, the Jews from the Ukraine, to begin coming back home. They did it at the beginning of this week. They had flights going out, bringing the Jews in the Ukraine back home. The ones that wanted to come. Some of them didn't, like many other nationalities, didn't actually want to leave Ukraine. Didn't think it was going to happen either, I guess. But on Monday they sent planes to get Jews back home, and Israel's official position was not to come home because war is coming. That wasn't Israel's official position was come home because why take the chance? We don't know what's going to happen. Don't take the chance. Come home. We'll give you a free flight. We sent some planes. Come home, and if it all blows over, go back if you want.
yeah. Exactly.
Well, on Tuesday, the Russian Minister of Defense was in Syria, while Russian MiGs flew over Syria near the Israeli border with supersonic missiles on them. Missiles like really, really, really high-tech missiles on the planes as they were flying over. This is Russia trying to show the world that they're strong and they can be everywhere. That means they're trying to show that we're on the Ukrainian front, but we're big and strong in this neighborhood. So we also on this front and that front, we're taking care of everything all at once.
Yeah.
Which is Another thing is they talked about how they were pulling back forces from the border and they weren't.
No.
Yeah. Well, we'll get off. We all understand, I guess, what we can understand from the Russian-Ukraine thing. We'll talk about something more about inside the state of Israel. The neighborhood Sheikh Jarrah in East Jerusalem. Sheikh Jarrah, we've talked about it a few times. It's a neighborhood that's right adjacent to the old city of Jerusalem. It's a mixed neighborhood of Arabs and Jews. It's in the news again, as it often is. An Arab ran over a Jewish pedestrian, causing an uprising of violence. Then I understand also they burnt down a house, a Jewish house. The Arabs went in and burnt down a Jewish house, and a guy who had his car burnt 9 times or something like that, and they burned his car down again. Itamar Ben-Gvir, one of our Knesset members, one of our extreme right-wing Knesset members, had moved his office there. He just made his office there. Hamas threatened Israel that if Israel doesn't leave the neighborhood, they will start shooting. So that's two main things we need to talk about. Number one, Itamar Ben-Gvir going to the place. They left wing called it he was being provocative and everything else. He was just trying to help the people that need help there, you know. And the second thing is Hamas once again tries to tell us what to do in our capital, in Jerusalem.
Exactly.
You know. By the way, there weren't any missiles fired from Hamas, and it was a bluff from Hamas. But it doesn't matter. You know, they shouldn't even feel like they have the ability to tell us what to do in our capital.
Yeah, but what bugging me more than that is that left wing, they just say, you're not supposed to be there. Jerusalem, you're not supposed to go to Jerusalem. You're not supposed to make like, how you say, provocate?
Yeah.
Provocate.
Provocation or whatever.
Yeah. And it's their houses, it's Jewish houses for so many years. And the guy who lived in the house that they burned his car 9 times and burned his house lately, and it's just a miracle that the family weren't in the house in the same time. It was at night. They just throw the bottle with the fire. You know how? And
Molotov cocktail.
Yeah, and it's all was on fire, and the family weren't there, so it's a miracle.
Yeah.
Thanks God. But he just came to support the family because poor guy lived there for so many years and he always been attacked. Except that when you go outside, they spitting on him, they throwing rocks on him
and his own home.
his family. Yeah, and it's
in Jerusalem.
And it's Jerusalem, Hebrew neighborhood. The Arabs that live there, by the way, they just rented the houses there. Many years ago, but it's Jewish houses from in the beginning, and they even not paying the rent. They just how you say intruders. They just live there, and now they say it's theirs, and they make a big deal about not leaving. And of course, Hamas trying to make this issue like it's this is a war.
Oh well.
Yeah. Lieberman, the Minister of Finance in Bennett's left-wing coalition, is now attacking the religious Jews again by taking away many of their financial aid.
Yeah, Lieberman's always attacking the religious Jews in this country. I heard someone in the Israeli news call Lieberman anti-Semitic.
Yeah.
And it actually fits. I would agree with that.
Well, can you be a Jew in anti-Semitic?
Of course you can.
So maybe he is.
It's just a horrible thing, you know. If one thing I guess Lieberman don't understand, like a lot of left wings people here in Israel don't understand, is if you lose the Jewish part of the Jewish state of Israel, then you lose Israel.
Israel, yeah.
Yeah, we can't have a non-Jewish state of Israel.
Yeah.
You know, that's just not how it works.
It looks like he just calling a war against religious Jews. That's all he's doing. Everything that's about them, he's trying to cancel and make their life so much harder. And I'm Russian, and he's Russian, and I look at him like, you're not supposed to act that way. You Jew live in Israel. You're supposed to understand what's their part in our Jewish country.
Yeah,
and I'm ashamed of him as a Russian, as a Jew, from Russia. I'm ashamed of him. It's not. I don't know what he's trying to do. Lieberman raised the prices not only for Hasidics. He do it for everybody. We also suffer, right? But for them, he just canceled the things that they used to. Like women who work, they have many, many kids, right?
Right.
So they have discounts and the kindergartens and stuff, and he canceled that. And also the public transportation.
Yep.
He raised up the prices. And the most of them is traveling by public transportation.
Absolutely. And also the plastic plates and stuff, that was against them mostly.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, on Tuesday night and Wednesday morning in the north of the country, we had 2 earthquakes. Now, don't forget, we had quite a few earthquakes just a few weeks ago. They were both under 4 on the Richter scale. Israel is not California. We're not used to having earthquakes like this. This is very unheard of, so many earthquakes, one right after the other. You know, as we read in Zechariah 14:8, it talks about the living water that's going to flow from Jerusalem to the Dead Sea and to the Mediterranean. One of the only ways I could see that happening, well, a lot of people believe that could happen, is by an earthquake opening up and letting the waters run through. And if that's the case, then it looks like yet again another prophecy is coming true. And by the way, this fault line, it's this African something fault line that comes to right straight through the Jezreel Valley. They found that there's an actual vein of that fault line that cuts through right straight through Jerusalem, the old city of Jerusalem, all the way to the Dead Sea. So I mean that's also quite interesting. Do you have anything else you want to add?
No.
Okay. Well, don't forget to join us on thegoldenreport.com. And until next week, God bless.
Bye.